plate, we bringing it to him all day. All day. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Win or lose, we bringing it to you always. Always. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Orange or black, we rebuild the pack. No matter where we at, you know we coming back. Section 336, we on this, so tune in. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Yeah, yeah. Welcome to Birdland. You know what's up? Welcome to Birdland. Birdland. Now, here come the boys from Section 336.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, Baltimore sports fans of all ages, welcome to Section 336, the next generation of Baltimore sports talk. I am your endearingly southern host, Matt Soroka. As always, I'm joined by a guy who could have warned Lamar Jackson about the danger of eating a salad from Burger King, the button lover, Josh Soroka.
Hey, Matt, are we gonna talk about the weird Lamar Jackson sickness stuff that he seems to always be sick? Have you noticed how he is pretty much sick regularly, but then he makes it into the game? Yeah, I know yesterday was the first time he didn't make it into the game. But I mean, you got I think he's been on the injured list midweek multiple times for being sick.
Are you saying we need to bring back our strawberry or coconut segment?
I'm just saying, I don't know. I'm saying he seems to be sick a lot, and then you got the Brown game from last year, and you gotta mix that into all of this. You can't leave that out.
Right. The runs game.
Right.
Yeah. No. I mean,
not bad for a running back.
I have. You know, when you have young kids, and Lamar Jackson has a young kid, I feel like I've been sick since October. I feel like I've been off and on sick since October. So I get it a little bit in the sense that you have kids, and the locker room too. I think like he wasn't the only person sick this week.
Right.
The locker room is conducive to germs and to, it's flu season and all that stuff. So I think all that is reasonable, but also, I mean, your point's well taken. This is not normal he's missed. This is his second start he's missed. None due to injury.
Right. Sickness.
But to illness or sickness. Yeah. So it's a little bit odd. And he misses practice a lot because of illness.
I saw
more than anyone I've ever seen.
Yeah, I saw the Barstool guys were taking it a little further and going back to that Cleveland game and saying he must have Crohn's disease.
Oh, wow.
So I don't think that's the case.
Barstool's a very reliable source.
Right, exactly. I don't think you want to trust their facts.
Yeah.
But
but it makes you wonder why he has such a weak immune system.
Right, and it went through the whole locker room, but it clearly hit Lamar harder than anyone.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I got students in my class who get sick a lot more than other students. I think part of this genes, right? Like people just get sick more than other people.
But didn't he also get COVID twice?
He got COVID twice.
Right? That's correct, right? That's not just my weird memory.
No, he got COVID twice.
Okay, that's what I thought.
It's still, to me, unclear if he's vaccinated. I heard rumors that he was, but now some people say he's not. I don't know.
He's immune. He's got immunity or whatever. What was the Aaron Rodgers comment?
Yeah. Immunized from it.
He's been immunized because he got COVID twice. So I think every time you get it, you're like clean for 6 months or 9 months or something.
So he just needs to go 6 months and then get a booster, which is him getting COVID again for his little booster.
Because as far as I know, I haven't heard of someone getting it 3 times yet. But I think Lamar is going to be the first.
If anyone does, and
thankfully, be Lamar.
It's not as deadly for young, healthy people. Though I don't know if Lamar's young and healthy. I don't know if he's healthy at all. But
he's young.
But he's young, so he's got that going for him. But if anything ever comes out, any disease that's really deadly, like bye Lamar, because if there's a disease out there, he's going to get it, right? Because it just seems like
it's weird. It's weird. It's all I can really say about it is it's weird.
Yeah, I don't know. Like and it leaves fans open to speculating about his diet, about his lifestyle.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's weird.
It's weird. Here's the weirdest thing: is Friday he tried to practice on Friday. And he's talked to the media on Friday, and his comment was, I usually don't get sick, for real. I used to eat my Flintstone vitamins when I was a kid. My immunity system should be good.
Yeah.
This coming from the man who's gotten COVID twice and has missed multiple games being sick.
Yeah. I mean, this is all within, a couple years span, but yeah, it's weird.
Yeah, it's weird. So.
All right, well, but Josh, I had quite the performance by a quarterback that the rest of the world, now we've heard of Huntley because we saw him last year, and we've heard his name as the backup. You know, replaced McSorley
and
last
he
year.
He did well in the preseason.
Yeah, undrafted guy out of Utah. Yeah, he did well in the preseason. And Josh, how would you rate his performance in his first start and his first win?
A 5
out of 5.
Out of 5. 5 out of 10. He did fine. He did average.
All right.
He did fine. He didn't score until that final drive, and that was helped by a big pass interference. But he did enough to win the game, and he did enough to run the same offense that we didn't have to mix up the offense. And he did enough that the Ravens were comfortable letting someone else go today.
Who was that? Did the Ravens let someone go?
Yeah, they let this guy go.
Despite the fact that he led his high school to 4 straight state championship game appearances,
this guy is now an Arizona Cardinal.
Recruiters looked at the 6-foot-tall, 180-pounder and said, "Quarterback."
Throw it on a dime, like I ain't even trying. Just a kid from Briarwoods, I'm wearing number 9. Met Coach Franklin down at Vandy, flipped to Happy Valley. Now I'm coming back and got the natty on my mind.
Why doesn't Tyler Snoop Huntley have his own song?
I'm your favorite quarterback. They call me Trace McSorley.
Trace McSorley is up there with Eddie Chavez, whose song, and maybe Hyunsoo Kim, sorry, Hyunsoo Kim fans out there, whose song is better than the actual player.
It is. It is way better than the actual player.
Yeah, he's on that list. So I guess, I don't know, what, Josh? They tried to put him back in the practice squad and someone picked him up?
Yeah, they're moving him back to the practice squad, and the Cardinals picked him up.
Yeah, because he was in the practice squad initially.
Right.
He was only called up because of Lamar Jackson's illnesses, as he's the backup's backup.
He was the backup. Yep.
Yeah.
But no, I think Taylor Huntley was fine. I think he showed enough to be a long-term backup for Lamar Jackson, but he did not show enough to be an everyday quarterback for another team in the NFL.
Yeah, I don't know. There's a lot of bad quarterbacks out there in the NFL. I mean, you look at what happens.
There are a lot. Just look at the Thanksgiving games coming up.
Yep. I mean, you look. I don't even know who this Lions quarterback is, but I know he is embarrassingly awful. You look at,
and he's facing Andy Dalton for the Bears.
Yeah. I mean, the fact that the Jets, can still have Joe Flacco as a starter, and he played decently on Sunday. But it shows you the state of quarterbacks.
I almost loaded my Joe Flacco button, but I said, "There's no way Matt's going to bring up Joe Flacco starting this week."
No, you almost said. I mean, he was close to elite on Sunday. So, but no, I think you're right. I feel good about him as a backup. I mean, if your starter goes down, I was always a proponent of it doesn't really matter who the backup is, because if Lamar Jackson goes down, I don't care who your backup is. We're not making the playoffs or going to the Super Bowl with a backup on this team. But
this is a more exciting backup than RG3.
Yeah, I thought RG3 was kind of fun too and exciting.
Right, but yeah, again, it's a younger guy.
Yeah, I'd rather have him than most players, and it's nice for the Ravens that they can keep a lot of the same run plays, design runs, and stuff with him as quarterback. Yeah. So that's nice too. He fits.
Right. What about the fact that the Ravens keep finding ways to luck into wins?
Yeah, I mean,
does it make their record more impressive, or does it make them like their record better than they actually are? Because it seems like there's a lot of games they're winning where they really shouldn't win, and suddenly at the end they get the points. You think of beating the Lions with the Justin Tucker field goal.
66-yard field goal, yeah.
Yeah. You think of this where we clearly lost the game.
Oh, almost any game you can go back to. I mean, you think of the Chiefs and that random kind of Oweh forced fumble, or that's the only way to win that game. Like almost every game this year has had something kind of funky that has helped us to win the game. So does luck play a role in that? Sure. I mean, I would argue we got really unlucky. And I don't know if we got lucky or unlucky. There were so many twists and turns in the first Raiders game.
Right.
But that's a game where we could have easily won, and we lost that game. And then you're right. We got fortunate against the Chiefs. We got fortunate against the Lions. The Broncos we destroyed. The Colts, things kind of went our way. The Chargers we destroyed. And the Vikings, again, kind of things went our way there at the end where we were down, I think, by 14 or 17 points and got back into it. So
then you'd also say we had a lot of unluck with losing so many guys to injuries. We've got more injuries than anyone else in the NFL. And we had more before this season even started.
Yeah, it's true. Like that we are decimated through injuries, and it's amazing that we're still standing on the top of the AFC North. So yeah, but has things, yeah, but at some point, if lucky things keep happening to you, right, you got to give other kind of components some credit, right? Like, I think the fact that this is a really well coached team compared to other teams. I think the fact that you just have a playmaker like Lamar Jackson. I know he wasn't there yesterday,
Yeah.
but I think some of these things kind of, you put yourself in position for lucky things to happen, if that makes
True.
sense. Like if you're down by 2 touchdowns, you're not winning no matter how lucky you are. But if you kind of make plays to give yourself in a position to win, a position to kick a 66-yard field goal. And by the way, the Lions haven't won a game all year, but they played every AFC North team really tough. So
yeah, and there's a good chance they get their first win against the Bears this week.
Is that who they play this week? I thought they played. Oh, is that who they play this week?
Yeah,
oh,
Lions
yeah.
and Bears.
Is that the Thursday night game? Yeah.
Yeah, with a random quarterback and Dalton. Yeah, I guess I can see that. It's also the fact that you're right. The Ravens got Lamar Jackson, which puts them in a chance to really win any game. So when you combine him with Justin Tucker, that gets you into any game with a chance to win.
Yeah,
and it doesn't matter how bad your defense is. I think it's just odd because we're so used to a dominant defense, and we've got one of the worst defenses in the NFL this year.
Oh, you think so? I think
we're ranked last in pass defense.
Yeah, and
pretty low on a lot of other things.
Yeah, I think our defense is, I would say it's average to above average. I think the problem with our defense is, we just give up way too many big plays, right? Like that was
the pass defense.
That was yesterday too. Like we, awesome, and then Dalton comes in two completions for 80 yards. Like just the big plays. And part of that is, and I heard them talking about this on CBS, is the Ravens just blitz too much sometimes and don't even not situational blitzing. Like they were criticizing the 4th and 18 blitz or whatever. Like picking your spots better for blitzing.
Well, you shouldn't be blitzing in that situation with Andy Dalton. Andy Dalton has picked the Ravens apart too many times over the years. And he's not a good quarterback, but he knows the Ravens.
Yeah, I mean, there's a direct correlation to being a team that blitzes an awful lot and being a team that gives up a big play an awful lot, right? Because when you blitz, it means you're relying on one-on-one coverage, and that's often when those big plays happen.
I think even Jim Nantz cued it during the game yesterday, saying if Andy Dalton pulls this game out, get ready to see all the packages of Andy Dalton in different uniforms beating the Ravens.
Yeah. Well, yeah, and he was talking up about how, the Ravens did not want to see Andy Dalton. And I would not rather face the Red Rifle.
But 2 weeks in a row, we've had the opponent switch out to their backup quarterback.
Yeah. Who might have been better than the starter.
Who at least did better for that day,
Yeah. But the other thing, Josh, is about this year. I mean, who did the Titans? Did they lose the Texans? Is that what they lost to yesterday?
They lost to the Texans. Yes.
This is after they lost to the Jets before too, and they have
the Bucks lost to the Redskins, Washington football team. The Cowboys lost to the Chiefs yesterday.
Oh, got blown up or got beat pretty good by the Chiefs. The Browns barely held on against the Lions that we talked about. It's
who
just
the Colts play. The Colts blew someone out too.
Yeah. The Bills. The Bills who looked like to be heading the wrong direction. So that's the thing too, Josh. Like, I know we all wanted to jump off a cliff when they lost to the Dolphins, but you just gotta be prepared that you can lose any single week. Any team can lose any week. There's no, as you know from playing Survivor Pool, there's no guaranteed wins in the NFL this year at all.
Yeah. But now is where it gets interesting for the Ravens because the next few weeks are divisional play.
Division.
Browns, Steelers, Browns, Bengals, I believe.
Yeah, we played one divisional game, and we're halfway through the season. So it's going to be, from here on out. So we'll find out. I mean, I still would not be shocked if we finished first. I would not be shocked if we finished last. I feel like we could finish anywhere in the AFC North. I think it's still wide open.
You'd hope Lamar's back this week, Marquise Brown's back, and we start to click.
Maybe, yeah. I hope so.
It's important to win with the Browns this week. Because the second time you play the Browns, where the Browns schedule is Ravens, bye week, Ravens. So it's going to be really tough to beat the Browns in that second game where they have 2 weeks to prepare for whatever they did wrong the first time playing us.
Yeah. I think that's fair. Yeah. So we're looking Browns, Steelers, Browns, and then it doesn't get easier when we leave the division to face the Packers.
Right.
And then Bengals, Rams, and Steelers. So there's not every team from here on out is a good team with an over 500 record. So strap in. Going to be interesting.
Yeah. I mean, at least we've got something exciting to watch.
Oh yeah, you never know what's going to happen. That's But all right, you want to get into some Orioles talk?
Yeah, let's go.
Orioles news this week.
Yeah, we had the 40-man had to be all locked down for the Rule 5 draft that may or may not happen in a week or so, 2 weeks.
Yeah, as of right now, it won't happen, but hopefully it will.
Well, as of right now, it will happen. They haven't canceled it. They haven't canceled it yet.
But when I thought like December 1st is when the thing ran out.
It is. And December 5th is or December 6th is when the winter meetings are, which is where the Rule 5 draft is. As of now,
so as of now, it won't happen.
As of right now, that winter meeting is still scheduled and still on.
All right.
Because they're playing it as if they're going to make a deal before December 1st. But we're all pretty sure they're not going to make a deal by December 1st, and the winter meetings will probably be canceled, which then means the Rule 5 draft is canceled or postponed.
So, I get all upset about these Rule 5 for nothing?
Well, no, because at some point they're going to have the Rule 5 draft, you would think.
Okay.
So let's go about it. Let's talk about it.
So there were 6 players added to the Rule 5 draft.
No,
I mean, there's 6 players
added to the 40-man to keep them off.
Yeah, to protect them from the Rule 5 draft.
These are guys not to get upset about. These are guys that are staying in the system.
Yeah. I think the first couple were no surprise. DL Hall.
Yeah. Kyle Bradish, no surprise.
No surprise. Taron Vavra, the shortstop, no surprise.
No surprise.
Kevin Smith.
Yeah, the broadcaster.
Not that. You're talking about what? Kevin Brown?
Oh yeah, never mind. That's Kevin Brown. You're right.
But Kevin Smith, not the comedian.
There's a Kevin Smith comedian.
Yeah, isn't he that tall guy on that? What are those movies? Some dumb movies, and he's the tall guy with the beard or something.
Oh yeah. You know
what I'm talking about?
Yeah, the director, the like Silent Bob.
Yeah, that guy.
Yeah. All right, yes, you're right. There is an actor named Kevin Smith.
Yeah, thank you. I wasn't making that up. I was like, shoot, am I making that up? I feel like that was a discussion.
Felix Batista.
Yeah, Felix Batista, who I don't know, maybe a little bit more of a surprise, but not a big surprise. This is a cat who averages fastball like 97 miles per hour, can also hit 100 miles per hour with this fastball.
Right.
So he's up there throwing gas, has some location issues, but with an electric arm like that, it makes sense the Orioles want to protect Felix Batista.
Yeah, I mean, clearly that's why he's there. He's there because they think he's got that power, similar to how they held on to Tanner Scott for many years.
Yeah, how's that working out for you?
Exactly. And then Logan Gillespie is the last guy.
Yep, and that was the one that everyone's kind of surprised. He came out of nowhere.
Well, because he hasn't. He played Bowie this year for a little bit. Yeah,
the highest he's played at Bowie is Bowie. He's 24, so he's not a super young kid. We picked him up just a year ago from the Brewers, so he hasn't been in our system very long. And last year, he started out at Aberdeen and then went to Bowie.
Yeah,
his
he's
numbers.
24.
Yeah, he's 24. His numbers at Bowie had an ERA of 5.60. So I think those numbers in 27 innings pitched, 13 hits, 17 earned runs, 8 walks. He did have 36 strikeouts in 27 innings, though.
Mm-hmm. He's the type of guy that the Ravens would try to pick up on the Rule 5 draft.
What?
He's the type of guy that the Orioles would try to take on from other people. He's like the pitchers that we claimed on the Rule 5 last year.
Yeah, I mean, I think it seems like in the Rule 5 last year, and kind of historically, we tend to target starting pitchers more,
and then use them in our bullpen.
Yeah, to eat up innings in the bullpen. But yeah, I guess. I mean, he's if you look at his arm, he again throws 96, 97, so he has a good electric arm. Not quite as hard as Batista, but still throws the ball hard. And apparently they like what they see enough to keep him on the 40-man. The Orioles 40-man roster is now up to 39. So they do have one open roster space. If the Rule 5 was today, right, they have one open roster spot to pick up one guy.
Right.
It's appropriate to add here, just to point out, they also have 0 catchers on the 40-man. So the 40-man is not set by any means. There'll be more guys removed from the 40-man. So if you're mad someone's still on there, there's still time. Don't worry.
Right. And it's because they don't have to add Adley yet.
Right.
He'll end up there.
Presumably there'll be another catcher there too.
And once they get through the Rule 5 draft, they can readjust the 40 again.
Yes. And presumably they'll also sign free agents, I would hope so, which would be more guys removed from the 40-man.
Right. But not Pedro Severino. He
Right.
will not be coming back as he was signed to the Milwaukee Brewers
Right.
this week.
For less than he would have made for arbitration with us. I think it was set to make about $3 million. I think he signed for like 1.9.
Which means good move for the Orioles to cut him and not go through arbitration. He wasn't worth that number.
No, he wasn't worth that number. It was kind of an obvious move, especially when you have,
a young guy, a young
catcher waiting in
superstar
the
coming
wings.
up. Yeah. Do you know anything about this Byron Baker that the Orioles signed from the Toronto player? Toronto cut him, pitcher.
He's a pitcher.
He's a bullpen guy, 95, 96 fastball. He only pitched 1 inning for the Blue Jays last year. That's his only major league appearance is 1 inning.
Yeah.
So I don't really know anything about him except that they took him from the Blue Jays.
Yep. He's a hard-throwing bullpen guy. I mean, it's interesting, right? They picked him up a couple weeks ago, and what it tells you is they like this random dude from another team more than they liked anybody else in our team. There's with the Rule 5 guy, there was some protections, there was some drama that like a Nick Vespi wasn't, who's having a good season over there with
because he's having a fall league. People are getting all excited for Vespi. Settle down on your Vespi love.
Yeah, it's the Vespi stuff is a little bit silly to me. Someone should go back and look at his stats last year at AAA, where an ERA of, get this, 6.86.
It sounds like
ERA in AAA, where he pitched the majority of his time last year at AAA.
Do you think people just like his name? You think it's just the name Vespi?
No, this is that On the Verge fault. It's their fault because now they have video of everything, even these Arizona Fall League games.
Right.
And you see him strike out 2 guys, and all of a sudden you want him on your 40-man.
But that's all they show. I love Bob, and I love all the guys over at On the Verge, but none of them are putting highlights of the Orioles players that suck in the minor leagues.
Oh no, yeah. You only, that's the nature of highlights, right? You don't
exactly.
It's not low lights; it's highlights.
I know. I'm just saying, doing well. If you want to really represent the Orioles minor leagues, you need to put some video in there of Vespi getting shellacked.
And no, I don't think you need to do that, but it does. I mean, it does hype these players up that maybe don't deserve hype because the only time you see Nick Vespi is when he's doing something well. So your point's well taken. But no, I mean, I don't think any other team's going to take Nick Vespi. And if they do, I don't think it's a big loss. I mean, I think there's a lot of Nick Vespi stuff out there.
Right.
The other guy that I think some Oriole fans were upset about, I mean, there was other pitchers like Cody Sedlock, who's been in our system forever. I don't, whatever.
But we didn't protect him last year in the Rule 5 draft.
Yes, right.
So he made it through last year with even more potential. So he's probably going to make it through this year again.
Yeah. Adam Hall is another guy who is kind of our 15th best prospect.
Right.
22 years old. Didn't have a very good year this past year. Doesn't look like he's anywhere close ready for the majors. And the other big name that people were surprised and wanted to protect is Robert Newstrom. Outfielder, played between Bowie and AAA this year. Had batted for 258, batting on base of 344. Had 16 home runs. So a good kind of power hitting outfielder in Robert Newstrom.
Yeah, and then Katie Grenner was the other guy I saw people pointing out as well.
Grenier, yeah,
a guy who had a decent season in Bowie, like mid to low 2s, but then got 1 hit his entire time in Norfolk.
Yeah, he's a glove first shortstop. He was drafted as a glove first shortstop, I think, out of LSU, and you just hoped that the bat would come around, and it just hasn't come around. So yeah, I don't. And again, like I think sometimes, he was actually, I said LSU. He's Oregon State because he played the same school as Adley Rutschman. Right. But anyway, glove first shortstop. Nobody wants them. Honestly, I would be shocked. I know we lost Zach Pop last year's Rule 5 draft, and
that was a surprise.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if it was that big of a surprise.
It was a surprise, but then I don't think it really hurt us.
No, it hasn't hurt us yet. We'll see if it hurts us in the long run.
But again, Zach Pop had that tag of expecting more from him because he came during the sell-off.
Yeah, and he was a weird case because he hadn't pitched because he was hurt the year before. And so this is his first year coming back healthy, was this past year. And so I think maybe you could argue that, he would have passed through Rule 5 because you just didn't know if he could pitch because he's just coming off an injury. So I don't know. I think sometimes you overvalue your own guys. There was no one who was not protected that I would cry if we lost them. I mean, we protected the guys, DL Hall, Kyle Bradish, really those two, and the rest
really
or whatever. We'll see.
Yep. Not worried at all.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen Robert Newstrom play. I saw him play last year at Bowie. Like, I know who these guys are. But I mean, you go on Twitter, it's like people have studied every at bat Robert Newstrom's ever had. You don't know Robert Newstrom. He's not going to start the year with the Orioles. He's going to start the year with Norfolk, and we'll see. He might make it to the majors, but yeah, that's no guarantee. And so yeah, I'm really satisfied with our 40-man. I still think our 40-man kind of sucks. I would be okay with. I couldn't tell you 5 guys right now that I would be okay if you let him go today. And Josh, totally. I know you could name a couple too, including an outfielder.
Trey Mancini.
Oh yeah. I bet you would.
DJ Stewart, is that the one you were going with?
That's who you always take shots at. The other guy that the Orioles picked up, and this interests me more than Baker. I don't know anything about Baker, but this guy's interesting. Lucius Fox.
Yeah, tell me about Lucius.
Not that Lucius Fox. The other Lucius Fox.
All right.
Not the Batman.
Yeah.
The Bruce Wayne manager, Lucius Fox.
What?
Batman and Lucius Fox.
I don't know what Lucius Fox has to do with Batman.
What? He's like his the handler. He's Bruce Wayne's business advisor's associate or whatever.
Okay. There's no way you knew that. What were you Googling that today?
No. It took me a second, but on Twitter, everyone started making Batman jokes, and it took me a second to figure out the Batman jokes, and then I got the Batman jokes.
Okay. All right. So he's Bruce Wayne's business manager.
Right.
Okay. Like we're supposed to know that.
No, he's in the movie and everything.
Well, he's Morgan Freeman in the movie, right?
Yeah.
But still, I mean, okay.
Anyway, so Lucius Fox.
I know my superheroes. I don't know their business manager.
Okay, so you know your superheroes better than I do.
I know Robin. I know Alfred. I don't know the guy who writes the checks.
Okay. Well, that's Lucius.
He must not be a very good business manager because Bruce Wayne wastes his money on a whole lot of stuff.
Well, and yet Bruce Wayne seems to always have money for more, doesn't he?
Somehow. So maybe he's pretty good.
Yeah, it's our capitalist system where the rich get richer. Probably hiding all his money in the Cayman Islands. I want to see his tax returns, Bruce Wayne's tax returns.
You want to go in that direction with the podcast?
So anyway, Lucius, he's a shortstop. He's from the Royal system. A couple of years ago, he was a top 100 prospect. He has, I tell you what he brings to the table, speed. He reminds me a little bit of the Mateo style, the Mateo type. If you look at his career, he has 142 stolen bases in 479 minor league games over 5 seasons, so he can run. I mean, last year, if you look at the numbers, last year he was 23 years old, playing at Norfolk, had an on-base percentage. Let me see, an on-base percentage here with 347, which, if my memory is correct, will put him a third on OBP on the Major League Orioles squad behind.
Okay.
Behind, I don't know, maybe Cedric Mullins and Urias probably. So I think he's intriguing, right? He's intriguing. He's another Mateo shortstop, second base, also plays outfield, super speed. I mean, if you put Mateo, Mullins, Fox out there, that's a lot of speed.
Right.
The question with him, of course, is can he hit for a high enough average? He's not going to hit for power. Can he hit for a high enough average? Kind of like the same question with Mateo. Can these guys hit for a high enough average and high enough OBP to really stick with the majors.
Or at least be good enough to be that utility off the bench guy.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, he might not be your
every
starter,
day,
but maybe.
But if you're playing some
bench
small
spot.
ball or something, it's nice to have that speed on the bench.
Yep, I agree. So I'm intrigued by that option. I like it. I'd rather watch him there than watch, I don't know, Steve Wilkerson. No offense to Steve Wilkerson. I'd rather watch someone like Lucius Fox. He's also young at 24 years old. So he has more upside and room to grow. And you hope, maybe change of scenery, new hitting coach. I'm curious to see like an off season with the Orioles instructors. What if it does anything for Mateo, if it does anything for Fox, if they're able to kind of help these hitters improve. You have a season like Cedric Mullins, and you hope, well, maybe someone else can make some Cedric Mullins magic and come out of nowhere and have a great offensive season.
I would love that. Sure. And I'd love to see Cedric Mullins build on this year, even more importantly.
Yep. I mean, just repeat it, right? Just repeat what he did this year.
Yeah, sure.
That'd be
just
great.
not show me that it's a flash in the pan.
Right.
It took me the entire season to believe that that's what he was doing. Don't let me down next year.
All right. You heard it, Cedric. Don't let Josh down next season.
So.
Yeah, so I'm feeling good about our 40-man.
Yeah.
I like the guys we protected. I think it all makes sense. I mean, it's clear. It's becoming more clear, I think, every week that the Orioles are going to be really quiet this offseason yet again. So it's going to be up to a lot of these kind of unproven young guys like Kyle Bradish, who I hope gets a chance to, pitch a lot in the majors. I want to see him fighting for a roster spot, a starting 5 spot coming out of spring training. We'll see what happens with DL Hall because he was shut down at the end of last season. I think just right now has started throwing again based on his tweets.
Right.
So I think it's really going to be interesting I still got to think they're going to add 1 or 2 or 3 starting pitchers, but we'll see what happens there.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah.
Okay.
And once you start adding starting pitchers, like I said, I think there's plenty of room to start plucking guys off this 40-man if you really wanted to. But again, they're still going to need to make room for at least 2 catchers.
They're probably going to dump 2 more people off the Rule 5, off the 40-man, at least to go into the Rule 5 draft in case they want to take some people.
Yeah, I mean, last year they took 2 guys in the Rule 5 draft, so it wouldn't surprise me if they try to dump 1 more guy before the Rule 5 draft. Yeah. And then at some point before spring training with catchers and free agencies, more guys will be cut.
Yeah, and that's what they're going to be doing this week and next week is looking at who isn't protected. So they're going to be looking at the list of guys from other teams that are hitting the Rule 5 and try to figure out who they want to take. Do they need to open 2 slots, 3 slots? How are they going to handle this?
Oh, yeah, because think about this, Josh. Our roster, I'm telling you, look at the 40-man. It sucks. Yes. There are so many guys in here on this 40-man that suck, that are not good baseball players.
Right.
And yet we're whining about who we couldn't protect. Other teams actually have good players who they cannot protect.
Yes.
Like the problem we have in Baltimore is not that much a problem. Other teams have a much more serious problem than we do.
It'd be way more interesting if we looked at the guys who were not protected from other organizations.
Yeah, and I know we don't really look at it through that. We just look at it through the Orioles lens.
And we like to also think, well, Rule 5 guys suck. And it's not that they suck. It's that they couldn't make – some of them aren't the best, but others just couldn't make their way up into their system because the system is stacked ahead of them.
Yep. Yeah, I think that's true.
The other Orioles news this week is Mancini, now the Major League Baseball AL Comeback Player of the Year. As we continue award season, as Major League Baseball drags all these awards out to try to make baseball relevant in November.
We're still doing awards? I thought those things were done.
Nope. Was it today or yesterday that it was announced? I think it was today. Yeah, today Mancini was announced as a Comeback Player of the Year, and Posey was the NL Comeback Player of the Year.
I thought that award was already announced.
Yeah, the MLB PA one was. This is the MLB one.
Okay.
So I didn't even realize MLB had an official one, but they've been giving it out since 2006.
Yeah.
So.
And real quick,
Don't worry,
I'll let the 40.
we still got the Roberto Clemente Award to come out, and probably some other stuff again to try to make baseball relevant in November.
Okay, cool. No one cares.
Nope, not at all.
No one cares. But in fairness to MLB, if you announced it at any other point in the offseason, I still wouldn't care. So it's not like there's no time that would make me care.
Yes, it would. If they announced it during the playoffs, in ceremonies, at stadiums, pregame ceremonies, you would care a little bit more.
Yeah, I would.
It would make
because everything
way
about
more
baseball.
sense to make these in baseball moments.
Yeah.
So
I was thinking about it. Just one more point about the 40-man. The Yankees released this past week, making room for the 40-man with the Rule 5 coming up.
Yep.
They released Clint Frazier and Tyler Wade and Rodney Odor. And I would argue Clint Frazier and Tyler Wade, both those guys are better players than are on the Orioles roster.
I don't know. I think I never liked Clint Frazier. I think he's a little washed up. But maybe.
Yeah, maybe overrated. I buy that.
He's overrated, but you're right. The Orioles, he's probably better.
Yeah, but my point for making that is also just like the Orioles are not done DFAing guys. Like other teams, 40-man's full, but other teams are going to sign players.
Yep.
And then they're going to release guys from their 40-man and try to put them back in the minors. And so the Orioles have already this month picked up 2 guys, Baker and Fox, from other teams that have been cut from their 40-man. And so I think the Orioles are not done picking up players from other teams as well.
And especially when we don't know how this CBA is going to affect things, we're assuming all of this stuff gets delayed.
Yeah.
Which means more adjustments before the draft.
Yep. So it's going to be really curious to see, in the coming months, what happens and what. I mean, I've been a little surprised, Josh. There's already been some signings, right? I'm a little surprised that free agents have already been signing contracts out there, even with all that.
Yeah, but nothing big.
Eduardo Rodriguez, Justin Verlander, Noah Syndergaard, some pitchers.
Okay, fine. I guess it is a surprise considering the state of things.
I mean, I think everyone's waiting in this draft class to see how the top shortstop fall out.
Yeah, everyone wants to see Carlos and
and
how that goes.
Yeah, that whole group of Trevor Story and Marcus Semien and Carlos Correa, that group of shortstops. But so far the pitchers have seemed to be some of the big pitchers have gone off. But all right.
We've always done, this is always the episode where we've always shared about things in sports, and Baltimore sports particularly, that we're thankful for. Did you jot down some things that you're thankful for this year in 2021?
No, I didn't.
Oh. I got the turkey gobble for you.
All right.
I did my homework.
All right, so you go and you tell me some things you're thankful for.
All right, I wrote down some things I'm thankful for this year. Fans being back in baseball stadiums. And particular being able to go back and see some spring training games and go back and to opening day and some other games at Camden Yards. That's my thankful for the Orioles for 2021.
Okay, I'll add to that.
Okay,
talking about the let me consult my notes of what I jotted down. Oh yeah, I jotted down this note that aligns with your notes. Some electricity in the minor league system, both by performances and fans. I mean, I went to
That's true.
Gas Up game with Grace Rodriguez making his opening start at Bowie, throwing to Adley Rutschman, our top pitching prospect, throwing to the top, catching prospect and top prospect in all of baseball. And that's Bowie Stadium was as electric as I've ever seen a minor league stadium in my life. And so you can definitely start, even if it hasn't kind of made its way up to Camden Yards yet, there is some electricity and excitement happening in the minors, which is going to hopefully get up to the majors this year and next year.
Yeah, and I'll piggyback on that with Kjerstad being back and swinging and hitting. Sure, it's just in Sarasota, but to see him back and working out after a year of being down because of COVID complications, it's something to get excited for next year. So I wrote down him back in the minors, Adley coming up to the majors, things that I'm excited to be thankful for. And I guess it all comes down to this just hope for the future for the Orioles.
Yeah, I mean, if you take a step back, Josh, and kind of, I know we get caught up in the day-to-day things, but just take a step back and think about what happened this past year. You really had really good steps, almost leaps. Like no one was talking about Grayson Rodriguez as the best pitching prospect in baseball at the beginning of the year. Now people are. Now people say Grayson Rodriguez may be the best pitching prospect in all of baseball. I mean, it's been just an incredible year for Grayson Rodriguez. Adley Rutschman played really well. It seemed like everybody we drafted, Kobe Mayo was hitting the cover off the ball. I mean, this was you could point out a lot of success stories and very few like kind of crash and burns. I mean, we can talk about Yusniel Diaz crashing and burning, but he's almost the exception. Most players, Cobb Radish is another guy who took a big leap this year. Most players had really nice years and took kind of nice steps in our minor league system. So yeah, it was a really, if you think back and kind of look at it, it's been really a good year for our minor league system.
Yeah, I agree. And then as far as the Ravens go, it's just Lamar Jackson. Lamar Jackson makes the Ravens, and I know Bert points this out all the time, but Lamar Jackson makes the Ravens exciting to watch no matter what's going on. And that definitely adds some more excitement to a team that's not that exciting of a team.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the exciting players are not here. Jacob Dobbins, I was so pumped to watch him, right? He's an exciting running back.
Right.
And I think he just was going to have a huge year this year. It's been just really unfortunate he can't play. Josh, but it doesn't also make you thankful for John Harbaugh? I mean, you look at the other side of the sideline with Matt Nagy there and just how many bad coaches there are that get turned over all the time. The fact that we have such a stable, consistent, just good head coach in John Harbaugh, something to be grateful for, right?
Yeah. What's his 12th year?
12th, 13th.
I'm trying to
he's
look
been
it
here a
up.
while.
Let's see.
I mean, him and Tomlin, I feel like, right at the...
And Belichick.
Oh, Belichick. Yeah. Belichick forever.
2008 was his first year. So
Yeah,
we're talking 13 seasons.
13
That's
seasons,
unbelievable.
Yeah. In the NFL, the
in
not-for-long league.
In John Harbaugh's time, the Orioles became relevant and then not relevant again.
Well, I saw one of the most... after the game yesterday, what was this stat? It was a crazy... I don't know if you're watching. This was right after the game. It said it was John Harbaugh, I think his second or third or fourth. It was like 4 or less wins as the head coach of the Ravens without Joe Flacco or Lamar Jackson. Like he only has 4 or less. I forget what the number was, 4, 3, or 2 wins by a starting quarterback other than Lamar Jackson or Joe Flacco.
I guess that makes sense. Yeah, because Steve McNair was before him.
Yeah, and when he got here, he got Joe, and yeah.
Meanwhile, yeah, how angry is Brian Billick that Harbaugh gets Joe and then gets Lamar, and Harbaugh and Billick had to go through McNair, Bowler, Testaverde.
Yeah, Trent Dilfer.
Dilfer, exactly.
Yeah, but but Billick, I think Bowler, if I remember correctly, Bowler was. That was Billy's guy. Yeah, that was Billy's guy. That's his own fault.
Yeah,
it's not like he was stuck with him.
Yeah,
he drafted him. He wanted him.
There was something going around the internet today, like one of those. Not or this week. You know, the spam that comes on like Twitter and Facebook, that like wants you to just like the clickbait stuff, and it was the worst NFL players ever, and Kyle Bowler was the face of the little article.
Really? Oh, no way. Got to give him a Ryan Leaf or something in there.
Yeah. Clearly, they don't know that he can throw the ball through the uprights on his knees.
From the 50-yard line.
From the 50-yard line.
That's
exactly.
Right. Is that it, Josh?
That was my thankful list. Yeah.
Wow, Josh, I am proud of you. That's very mature of you.
I
thought for sure you were going to go with thankful that Chris Davis was cut from the team, as no longer on the Orioles.
No, I'm not
very
thankful
mature
about
of you
that
not.
at all. We're going to talk about Chris Davis in a
You want the Orioles to
weeks.
re-sign him?
No. But I'll add that to my prep work for what if. And one of our scenarios.
What if the Orioles re-sign him?
What if Chris Davis comes back in 2022?
What if they bring back Chris Davis and Sammy Sosa?
Yep.
And Brian Roberts and Adam Jones.
2022, Chris Davis is now on my notes for the what if episodes.
No, that will be a very quick what if.
It will be.
That'd be a very quick and easy what if.
Yep. So.
Yeah, no, I think it's a good list. I think it's a good list. There's really, I mean, you could throw good storylines.
I added Cedric Mullins as well.
Cedric Mullins,
for making
John Means no hitter, kind of all the good storylines we talked about.
I forgot about the no hitter. Yeah, that's a good one.
With the Orioles this season, but yeah, hopefully next year and the year after, the Orioles will give us more and more stuff to be thankful for.
Yeah.
Yeah. And yeah, thankful that we have every year we have a good football team, even when everyone gets hurt. So that's pretty cool.
Yep. I agree.
All right. Ready to get some ball 4?
Sure. Let's try out a little ball 4.
I do have some notes for this.
All right. Let's see. And I got the music right here. You want to start us off?
Sure. I'll start out with books. Haven't talked books in a while.
No.
I don't think I talked about this book on the podcast at all. Read it recently. A little late in the game. This book came out a couple years ago, maybe 3 or 4 years ago, actually, maybe 5 or 6. I don't know. I'm late in the game. To much acclaim. But Trevor Noah, the comedian, have you read his autobiography, Josh? Born a Crime?
No. Is that really your book?
Yeah.
I thought you read like classic literature and stuff. You read the Trevor Noah biography?
Josh, it's really good. He was born in South Africa. He was born a mixed baby, which was literally a crime to be born mixed. Like you know, because you weren't allowed to have interracial relationships.
Right.
And so
In South Africa.
In South Africa at the time. Yeah. So he was born a literal crime. His mom had to hide him. He couldn't live with his dad. He would go like and visit his dad's on the weekend on the sly, like, let's meet at the playground, kind of pretend I don't know you, but you're really my dad type idea. And it's really funny and insightful and thoughtfully written. And I didn't realize that Trevor Noah was kind of so brilliant, but the dude is really smart.
So it's not just about him taking over the Daily Show.
There's no mention of the Daily Show.
Okay, all right.
It's about him growing up in South Africa.
Okay, because that's all I know about Trevor Stewart.
Yeah.
Trevor Noah. Sorry, you mixed up Jon Stewart.
You're combining the two guys.
Yeah, I mixed up the two.
Where I'm not going to do it, but by the way, I could do about 4 about Jon Stewart's new show, which is really good too.
I haven't watched that yet either.
Yeah, it's good. Trigger warning for you, Josh. The
That's the name of the show, right? No.
What?
Okay. All right, go move on.
But I like it because it's not. I've never really, to be honest, I've never even seen the Daily Show with Trevor Noah. I used to watch with Jon Stewart. I never really watched it with Trevor Noah. But this is just about him growing up and the separation, with the apartheid in South Africa, and kind of his experience growing up in a really poor community, and kind of his adventures in that poor neighborhood, from getting arrested to all kinds of shenanigans. Which is just a really entertaining good story.
It sounds way more interesting than a book by a comedian that hosts a Daily Show.
Yeah, that's like what I was surprised too.
That's why I didn't. Because I've seen the cover and I've seen it, but I'm not going to read a book about hosting the Daily Show.
No, I did a small book club with some students in my classroom. Like five of my students read it too, and we talked about it. Like it's a good work of literature we can talk about. Yeah, it's good.
All right.
So I recommend that one.
So one of the students recommended this book?
No, I first heard about it from another teacher, actually.
Gotcha.
And then I recommended it to the students.
All right.
But yeah, Born a Crime.
All right, Born a Crime, ball 1. My ball 2 is, I love Buc-ee's.
Oh my gosh.
So I found these pretzels at Buc-ee's yesterday that are dill pickle pretzels. So I figured I'd bring them on and share that the Pretzel Cravens dill pickles are really good. And don't worry, Matt, I got a bag here to bring back for your wife. She requested some.
I'll pass. No thanks.
Well,
I don't know why you do this. You got your pretzels, which taste like pretzels, and you get your pickles, which taste like pickles. I don't know why we're always trying to combine flavors. Why can't we have pretzels that taste like pretzels and pickles that taste like pickles? I don't know why we got to combine flavors all the time. What is that with the obsession with combining flavors? It's unnatural. I don't like it.
Because pretty much everything you eat is 2 flavors combined.
That's not true, Josh. A pretzel's a pretzel.
What'd you have for dinner?
What I had for dinner?
Yeah.
I had pizza.
Okay. So somehow you combine cheese and tomatoes and bread?
Yeah, all that's traditional and natural.
No, it's not. It's three different ingredients.
But it's a natural, well accepted, historically recognized combination of foods. Not like it's like those Pringles. Like I want to make cotton candy flavored chips.
Well, that's obviously disgusting. But you like
so are pickle
chocolate
pretzels
cereals. You just want you want to make your own little accreditation of foods that are allowed to be together.
Yeah. I think that should be the case. I don't like all this experimenting.
Consperimenting?
Experimenting.
I prefer consperimenting.
Yeah.
It's conspiracies about your food experiments.
It's like when people get all creative with beer too. Like, let me
I
make
agree
this
with you on
chocolate
that.
flavored beer. I want to make a
Right.
raspberry beer. Like, what are you doing?
Yeah.
Just
Right. No, I
Stop.
agree with you there.
make beer.
Yep. All right, you got something?
Hmm?
You
Oh,
got
yeah.
You got another ball?
Hey, can I say, I know, this is the age of Amazon and no one leaves their house and
Oh, I made an
Rocket
Amazon
Room.
mistake today.
can I say, you know what, well, you know what's alive and well? Well, not all of them, but I am a huge, and I've talked about this in the show before, I'm a huge mall guy. I love the mall. Every year I fall more in love with the mall. Do you know where I went this week, Josh?
I'm gonna guess the mall.
Yep. Do you know which one? Not
Um,
Annapolis.
you
Not
went
Arundel
to,
Mills.
White Flint.
Marley.
That's still around? I thought
Marley
that's like
Mall.
just a Gold's Gym and nothing else in there now.
Oh no. My
Is
kids
this-
even met Santa in there. The Marley Mall.
All right.
Santa was there. Literally we were there for about 45 minutes. I didn't see another single soul walk up to Santa. It was like Santa and 5 elves just hanging out by themselves.
Oh, there was no line for Santa?
No line. This is Saturday night. Like 6:00 on Saturday. We walked up, hung out with Santa for a while, just because I felt bad for him because he was so lonely.
What do
And
you
so-
what do your kids think of Santa?
They're incredibly shy. They want to talk to him.
Okay, no, but I mean, what do you tell them about Santa?
What did I tell them about Santa?
Yeah. Do your kids believe in Santa?
Do my kids believe in Santa? I
Yeah.
don't.
Do you not
I'm-
understand the question?
My son asked me about that the other day, and it's just complicated, Silas. Right? It's complicated because
Hold on, wait, what did he ask you?
he asked me, I think we saw a Santa or something somewhere, and he asked me like, was that Santa real?
Okay, so
It wasn't the
believes
Santa
that
at Marley. It was a different
right.
Santa.
So he believes that there's a general real Santa that's going to bring him gifts.
Yeah.
Okay, and you encourage that.
I don't do it either way. Yeah. I guess I
do you,
encourage it.
do
Sure.
you write Santa on presents that you give him?
I don't know. No, I don't think
Okay.
so.
So does he feel left out that Santa never brings him presents?
No, I think no.
Or
I
can he
think
just
we'll
not read?
put Santa on one present. I think we'll put Santa on one present.
Okay, so you give one present goes to
But
Santa.
we also put presents from us. So like, because we want to
Okay.
get credit too.
I know
so-
I know you're all about making sure you get the credit. You did the
Yeah,
work.
I want to get it. Yeah,
All right.
I bought it. I want to get
So
it.
how did you answer the question? Is that a real Santa?
Well, I tell him it's complicated. You know what I said? I
Yeah,
said,
but
Silas.
that's gonna not settle him down. He likes to ask lots of questions.
Yeah, here's what I told him, Josh. I said, "Is Mr. Rogers real?"
Yes.
Sure, but like he's on TV, like he's not real, like he's not coming over in your house. In fact, Mr. Rogers is long dead, and tells the Silas. But Mr. Rogers is probably a decomposing corpse in the ground right now, probably nothing but bones, being maggots all in his eyeballs. But I didn't say that. I didn't say that, Silas. But like in the sense that he exists, he's out there, you're familiar with him, but like you can't have a real relationship with him because he's on the TV screen. It's kind of like that with Santa. Like Santa's out there, he exists, he's out there in kind of this special unknown world, but you can't like get to know him and meet him. But there is this thing called Santa that exists out there.
All right.
Yeah.
So Daniel Tiger and Santa are the same thing in your world.
Essentially, yeah. It's these kind of make believe type, kind of
Okay.
real characters who you know, but are kind of make believe. Yeah.
Okay. All right. That's a complicated answer.
Yeah. Why? Because Josh, I want my kids
You
like to
didn't wanna
believe
tell
in,
'em-
in dragons, and I want them to believe in these kind of mythical things because I think they're fun and cool, and I want them to have.
Oh, I see what's going on now.
Yeah.
This isn't about Santa. This is all about your belief in Bigfoot and UFOs.
I just want to keep them open minded, Josh.
Exactly.
So if Bigfoot can exist, why can't these other things? And
You're right.
and does Bigfoot exist? Well, it's complicated because maybe he exists in a different dimension. But how do you talk about that with a 4-year-old?
Right.
So
yeah,
we're
that's
building there.
complicated. Gotcha. All
We're
right.
building
Now I see how Santa feeds into your life.
Yeah.
All right. So you like malls.
I'm a huge malls guy. Yeah.
All right.
Marley
And there's-
Mall, Annapolis Mall, Arundel Mills Mall.
And there's
all the
still-
malls within 30 minutes of my house. It's one of the few things, especially when it gets cold. Judge, what are you doing on a Saturday night at 6:00 when your kids are running around the house like crazy and you need to get out of the house and it's cold outside? What are you doing? What are you doing?
I wouldn't know because my ball 4 is year-round softball because it's now the end of November and I'm still
yeah.
playing softball
You
because
have no
it
idea
is
what I'm
not
talking about.
cold.
Yeah,
it was
never mind.
cold. It was cold Friday night and I wore a sweatshirt before the softball game, and then switched to a T-shirt.
Okay.
So I don't know what you're talking about. I like to pretend that I don't have to deal with that cold weather.
Yeah. Well, just wait to come up here this week and
just a
for
couple
Christmas.
days.
Enjoy yourself.
I pulled out some sweatshirts.
Yeah, you'll be heading to the mall on Saturday nights. Trust me.
Yeah, I haven't worn these sweatshirts since my last time in Maryland. I made sure to pack them, bring them out to bring to Thanksgiving. Yeah, the mall's interesting. I don't think I've been to a mall in many years. So.
Yeah, I mean, I think the mall is alive and well for parents with young kids. There's a lot of parents with young kids there.
All right. I made an Amazon mistake.
Okay.
I decided to ship presents to Mom and Dad's house because I'm going to be doing Christmas up there with you guys.
Okay.
So that way I don't have to carry the girls' presents on the airplane and all that. I just ship them up there.
That sounds like a smart move, yeah.
Yeah, that's a smart move. The not so smart move is not paying attention when I order the presents and clicking on the Arnold address, thinking it's going to Mom and Dad's house when it went to the house that I lived in 4 years ago.
Oh, that's awkward.
So thankfully that person had my email address and emailed me to let me know that the presents were at her house.
Oh, that's funny.
So I had to have Mom and Dad go up and get the presents today.
Oh, that's funny.
Yep.
The old Amazon, old address error.
Yeah, exactly. Well, it's complicated because it's the same street name.
Yeah.
So, but anyway.
All right.
Ready to get out of here?
Was that your ball 4? Bad Amazon deliveries?
No, my ball 4 was year-round softball.
Oh, you're in softball. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
So, I mean, yeah, I'm going to stick with that as my ball 4.
All right. Well, Josh, I'll see you in a couple of days. We'll get to, hopefully we'll all get together. Hopefully we'll get together with Bert too at some point.
Have you been paying attention to that text thread?
He never responded, right?
Correct.
Yeah.
Yeah. So then I sent another message, and he still didn't
ghosted
respond.
Ghosted you.
He is ghosting Section 336.
Yeah.
And it's too bad because I think these special episodes are right up his alley.
Yeah. We'll see. Yeah, we'll see.
But yeah, Thanksgiving, get to watch some football, and big Ravens game coming up next Sunday night.
Yeah, yeah. It should be fun. How long are you in town for? Are you staying for the Sunday night Ravens game?
Well, that's another mistake I made. So I booked my flight a few weeks ago to be the last flight out of Maryland so that I could hang out and watch the Sunday afternoon football game with you.
Sure.
So I booked the flight that takes off at 8:20 out of BWI. I then learned that I should have checked the Ravens schedule because they play the Browns at 8:20 on Sunday.
Yep, exactly when you're leaving.
Yep. So I then asked Southwest if I could move my flight to 4 p.m., and they said, sure, no problem. That'll be $338. And I said, no thanks. Can you make sure your Wi-Fi works so I can watch it on the plane?
Yeah.
So I'll hang out and watch some other games that we don't care about.
Right.
And then I'll go watch the Ravens on the airplane.
All right. Smart
But
by
either
you.
way, I'm going to get up, get a few days with you, and take care of Emily's chore list.
Yeah. Should be fun. I fixed a railing today. The railing was wobbly. I fixed it all by myself. One of a proud man moment for me.
Would you use a screwdriver?
I used a screw gun.
Oh, stepping it up.
A screw gun. I had to get a new screw too for it because the screw I think was too small that was in the railing, so I had to get a new bigger screw and screw in the bigger screw.
Good job. You're learning.
I even went to the hardware store.
Okay.
Maybe it was a necessary trip.
Did you get it yourself or did you ask someone?
No, I got it myself. The problem was, Josh, in those railings, the bit is not big enough, so I couldn't get all the way to where the screw was to screw it all the way in.
Gotcha.
So I had to get a bit extender. I don't know if that's an official name, but it extended the bit on my screw gun
Right.
so I could fit it in there.
Good job. How's the squeaky bed?
Still squeaking.
Okay.
When you come over, when you hang out with Emily, please do not mention the squeaky bed.
Okay.
I haven't heard about it in about 6 hours. This is a new record.
Right. So I should
So
bring
let's try
some
to keep this
WD-40.
Yeah. Of course, every time I hang out with Dad, who listens to this podcast, he cannot help but mention it. So thanks, Dad. Shout out to you for mentioning the squeaky bed. Yeah.
All right. Well, look forward to seeing you in a couple of days.
Absolutely. You can follow us, guys, on Facebook and Instagram and all those social media apps. Go ahead and write us a review on iTunes. Give us 5 stars. Talk about how much you love Lucky Charms. I mean, chocolate Lucky Charms.
Yeah, I learned my kids do.
I'm telling you, Josh, there's a whole underground movement of chocolate Lucky Charms lovers.
Yep.
I bet you never seen Count Chocula in there in the cabinet, but you you do see Chocolate Lucky Charms, right? You never bought Count Chocula.
You're right.
I've never met a single person who's ever bought Count Chocula, but I know a lot of people who buy Chocolate Lucky Charms.
Okay. All right. You got it.
So you can write us a review. That's what I was saying. You can write us a review.
You were.
You can also follow us on Twitter at Section336 is my Twitter handle. And you can also follow Josh on Twitter.
At Josh Roca.
Thanks for listening, boys and girls. And as always, go O's and go Ravens.